I got a cool new hat. I'm happy.
Nice hat.
You got a cool new shirt.
I got a cool new shirt. I wanna. So I've been seeing this more often, and I've had this thought for like a few weeks. I wanted to bring this up, on our little pre-podcast talks. Um, man, sports cards. They're gonna make a comeback. I think sports cards are gonna make like a. They already are,
Yeah, I was
but I
gonna
think
say.
I think they're gonna like. I still don't think sports cards have hit like the level of craze that Pokemon cards hit a couple months ago,
Mm-mm.
but I think it's on its way.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really cool because my dad has a bunch of old NASCAR. We talked about this a little bit, but he has
Yeah.
like trunks of like NASCAR diecasts and um, got like the sheets of cards, like the uncut sheets of cards. I have to go. I actually really do have to go through that one time. I'll take a bunch of pictures, but it's kind of cool, and I'd love to see if there's anything in there that's worth anything.
There probably is.
I would imagine card stuff. I mean, it's all cards from like the early '90s, mid '90s. Like all the stuff in those trunks are from that era.
Yeah, I know. So a lot of the stuff you get to like mid '90s and even probably like '93, around when Jeff Gordon comes into the sport, and there's
Mhm.
really just this boom in all the like the products and whatnot. You know, T-shirts and cards, diecast, any type of memorabilia. That stuff, they made so much of it, and yet you were at Charlotte and you saw the tents. There's still
Yeah,
so much of that stuff left from the '90s and early 2000s.
yeah.
Um,
Especially when you get to the early 2000s stuff, there's
mhm,
just an excess of stuff of crap from
mhm.
that time period.
I think for like the last 6 years, 6, 7 years, I've seen this. And I thought it was really cool, and I almost got one like in '06 or not '09, 2010. It's a Kenny Wallace U.S. Border Patrol promo diecast or something, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. I haven't seen that before. And like I didn't get it because I was like, oh, I'd rather get Casey Kane, Jimmy Johnson,
Yeah,
Dale
yeah,
Jr. cars. But now I'm glad I didn't because there's like 100 of those things any given
yeah.
weekend, right? So
It
merchandise
was
is weird.
it was really funny when we were at those tents at Charlotte, which I didn't know existed. I never knew existed.
Well, yeah,
And
because
I'd been to Charlotte before.
Daytona hasn't had the flea market, right, for a while on
No,
property.
no, yeah, I've never seen anything like that anywhere at Daytona. And then like Charlotte has all these tents across from the front
Hmm.
stretch. Anyway, it was really funny. Like our group, I think it was Matt Steelman who like saw like a Peyton Sellers diecast in like this big basket. He's like, oh, I bet that's rare. And then Steven Merzlag, he's holding like three of that Peyton Sellers diecast, like in his hands. It was
Yeah.
really funny, but a perfect example of what we were just talking about.
Oh yeah, there's just so much stuff. And it's weird too. You'll be like looking at Marketplace on Facebook and all these listings like locally to you, and you'll see
Mhm.
that stuff and they'll want like 20, 30, $40 for it. And it's like, no, it's not even worth that because I can
Yeah.
just wait till I go to the racetrack in August or whenever and get it done. But yeah, I don't know. Merchandise is weird. That's why you
Yeah.
got to go to our friends at Circle B Diecast.
Friends at Circle B.
They hook you
Friends at
up.
Circle B.
They hook
We'll
you
have
up.
to. We'll have to. I feel that this. I mean, I guess this is definitely the cold open now, huh? We should start the show then.
We probably should. We probably should. We're just gonna roll right through it. As always, folks, this is the Fake Racers podcast. I'm
Joe
Joe.
Zwansky.
Yep, and he's Davey Hazard.
I am a slightly. Oh God, I'm about to cough. Slightly healthier Tavy Hazard.
Very much so.
Trying to get through it. I'm still coughing a lot.
He's
Live in
wearing
the
one.
southeast United States.
He's
What's going on?
wearing a great T-shirt that you can get for yourself on the JTN merch
You
store.
might have heard about this T-shirt that I'm wearing.
It's also if
I would-
you're not a T-shirt guy, you can get a poster of it. There's
I have a
canvas
poster.
prints. There's canvas prints if maybe
I
you're a
wanted a
little.
canvas print.
Maybe if you're feeling a little bougie, want to get down with it. Got some other designs too. Got the like Martini Hazard logo design, and we
Very
posted. Cool. We got Mikey Barada. We got merch up there for him making his mark this year in the USORL.
Awesome.
If he's watching, a couple marks on the wall, but for our
Also,
list,
newly released today.
Matthew Steelman,
Matthew
King of the
Steelman.
Jungle.
Yes,
Merch.
sir.
So go check that out. Uh, yeah, bunch of great driver merch, and any drivers out there that race on broadcast on JTN, you can always contact us about maybe getting yourself some merch on the JTN merch store, because it is fun to make and it looks pretty good if I do say so myself.
It does.
But enough about us and us gloating about ourselves. Let's talk about someone that probably deserves some praise. Mr. Kyle Larson dominates for the second week in a row at Sonoma. There's a couple things here in this race, and we'll get to them, but let's first talk about Larson and just how quick he was. It helps that he started on the pole, because I still think this version of Sonoma is very aero-dependent compared to all of our other road courses, but you'd be more of an expert on that.
I don't know if I would say aero-dependent necessarily, but you're getting at the same kind of idea. This Sonoma, it's really hard to pass. That the opportunities that you have instead of the old Sonoma that we used to run, you run down and you take the entrance to what becomes the carousel, that right-hander, really thins out on exit. There's not a lot of runoff. The track really kind of comes back to you when you're heading on the exit of that corner. It's not easy to make a pass there because you're going to run someone in the dirt and they're going to be upset about it. Carousel, I mean, it can lead to some interesting opportunities, but you don't really want to be trying to pass in the carousel because you really need to focus on that straightaway. And then there's the big braking zone, which sets up for a pass, but it's basically kind of in the same spot where the other passing zone was at the other layout. It's just really hard to pass. It's really hard to set up a pass. You don't, it doesn't lend itself to a lot of opportunities to make a move unless you go for a big lunge, which doesn't always work out. We saw a lot of drivers blow that long braking point after the carousel. Obviously, that helped Kyle Larson. I mean, he found himself in like a few cars back a couple times, and he made his way through the field just fine. But he also had probably the fastest car in the field, so
it helps.
Swings and roundabouts.
But talking about his improvements, he's always been good at Sonoma, and I think people are like, well, this was his last great thing that he had to accomplish. He's won 3 poles at Sonoma. Yeah. It's not like he's not an accomplished road racer. There is something to say about being a track in your home state, especially when you're on the West Coast and most of the races are out east. So there's something to say about that too. But Hendrick Motorsports has just been so good at these road courses. There are reasons for that. We can get into them. Track Attack, but
cheating.
I have no idea if that was Joe Gibbs Racing doing that.
Yeah,
people would be
not go as well.
freaking out about it, and I think that's a testament to Rick Hendrick and the relationships he's built in the sport more so than anything.
Yeah.
That he's able to convince them that no, we're not actually testing. But Jeff Gordon goes out there and tests those cars. You can apply the same things. They are the same chassis that they're still using.
Hendrick's also been doing this for over a decade. When Jimmy Johnson was really dominant, I've heard Landon Castle and you better go check this out because it's really good. On the Dinner with Racers podcast, Landon Castle talks about Hendrick bringing, air quotes, ARCA cars to racetracks when the testing bans were kind of a thing. And
they still are a thing.
well, you know what I mean? Like, when they became a thing, Landon Castle was taking very mysteriously powerful ARCA cars, and he was testing those instead for Hendrick. And they said, "Oh, we're just testing the ARCA car." And that's out of the bag here. It was basically probably a damn cup car. Is what it is. I don't know how they're getting away with it. I don't know how it's not a bigger deal. I don't know how it's not more talked about. But it's clearly helping them. It's been helping that road course program with Chase being so dominant on the road courses the past couple of years. It also helps that they have very talented drivers. Well, yeah, I don't know. Will it ever catch up to them? I don't know. It seems like I'm going to doubt that it will, considering the changes to how the cars are going to be given to the teams rather than manufactured, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All that fun stuff.
I think you'll see him slip next year. I think Chase will still be good because I think he's got those skills because you've seen him do good at all the different layouts, all the different road courses, but I I don't see that out of the other guys. Like Byron has been really good at Sonoma, and he was decent at the Roval, but he's terrible at Watkins Glen. Comparatively, because he's probably still top 20, top 15, whatever. But compared to running top 5 at the other two that we've been running, Road America will be an interesting challenge, I think, for them. But they're gonna have a notebook because all their guys have run there before. Bowman might not have, but everyone else has. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they kind of navigate that. Again, switch back to the old Sonoma because I found this race completely boring. We'll get into some of those reasons when we talk about some other stuff this week that we kind of pushed back to this week. But I didn't enjoy the race. And I usually, like I said, I've said it on here before. I've thought most of the races this year have been pretty good. I thought Atlanta was good, so you can't tell me, oh, you didn't like it because Kyle Larson dominated. I thought the Coke 600 was good. I mean, you know what I mean? And I think that would be like the first hole people would try to poke into the argument. Because I think there's a lot of people that are like, oh, 750 horsepower, small spoiler, must be a good race.
I mean, I enjoyed the race.
But that's exactly the point. You're allowed to enjoy the race.
No, exactly. Like I just enjoy watching those cars tackle Sonoma and all the other road courses in the first place. So naturally, I'm going to enjoy that. It's my thing. It's what I enjoy. But going back to the original point, rewinding a little bit, go back to the old course. The camera angle of those cars sweeping out, hopping over that huge curb. That's an iconic camera angle for NASCAR Sonoma. It really sticks out in my childhood, in my brain. Obviously, maybe that's nostalgia, but I mean, it was a spectacle to watch those cars take those corners. It made for 2 passing zones that were always used and always provided some excitement, always provided a little bit of drama, and who doesn't like that? I thought this is one of those things where if I was just opinion, throw it out there, people would go back. No one would do this, but if people cared, they would go back in my tweets and stuff and see that I was excited about the carousel.
Right.
I was wrong. Yeah. I thought I was gonna like it. I don't like it at all.
But that's okay.
It's fun to drive.
Yeah.
It's great to drive. I love that tight, that really tight corner that heads onto the carousel that I was talking about. It's impossible to pass, thins out. That's a blast to drive. But I mean, we're watching a race, and it doesn't offer anything. If anything, it just kind of the cars kind of bumble through there. You can't really there's nothing to convey there.
They were too wide pretty much all the way around the track on a restart, and it made no sense because that's why the leaders were able to get away, because everyone else was still too wide and had to go tiptoe their way through 4, 5, carousel, 6, 7. It's just, I don't subscribe to the idea of I have to think that these drivers are wheeling the cars and have to be on the edge, but that's more the engineer brain. I want to make sure if I'm setting up a race car, my driver doesn't have to fight the race car, right? I'm going to do everything to my power to do that. But so it makes good racing. I'm not saying it doesn't make good racing, but I think a lot of people they overvalue that because a guy can have a dominant car and it can be a handful too. There's an in between, but a guy can also have a really crappy car, but it's really consistent for him. I always go towards the handle more than the on edge.
I get it.
There was a very talk about this call because it was during the race. Ross Chastain goes down into 11. Bins, I don't even remember who it was. Was it? Oh, it was Corey LaJoy. Yeah, I thought Corey wasn't doing very good. I know everyone was really happy for Corey. I'm happy Corey had a good run, though, and got some TV time for Spire. That 7 team is improving, and that's good to see. But he was actually doing,
by the way, quite well. He was running top 20 before that pit stop happened.
I kept seeing him dropping tires everywhere.
He was on old tires when he was getting all the TV time.
No, I know. I'm like, what are you doing when we're not watching you, though? You know what I mean?
It's fair.
But point. Chastain does that. Goes into Gilligan's Island area. I don't know if that's not exactly what it is, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And cuts the course, gets back in his 9th starting spot, after causing the wreck and cutting the course. And NASCAR
gained 2 spots. Cutting back through that. gained 2 spots from where he caused the crash, not from where he ended up when he was backwards. By the way.
Yep.
Didn't mean to interrupt. Just wanted to add that.
No, you're good.
To say.
Don't be mad at Ross Chastain. That's the first thing. You can't be mad at Ross Chastain because this is an officiating error. This is something that they're going to have to look at because you're going to... Go ahead.
Well, I'm mad at Ross Chastain because he just went and sent it and dumped someone down in the hairpin, but...
That's true. That's true.
Kind of a very certified Ross Chastain moment.
Yep.
Sorry, Mikey.
Mikey's just getting a lot of heat tonight.
Mikey, poor Mikey, man.
That's why you got to go buy his merch.
Mikey loves Ross Chastain, but Mikey also knows what Ross Chastain does. And every time something happens and Ross Chastain's involved and it's very clearly Ross Chastain's fault, which is relatively often, Mikey's just like,
gotta deal with this again. No, but it was a puzzling call from NASCAR.
It was, and I saw some arguments on Twitter that didn't make any sense. Some people, I mean, I love all my friends on Twitter, but I just didn't get any of the arguments. Oh, it wasn't on the last lap, so it's different than the call that. I mean, I referenced Jimmy Johnson spinning out on the final turn of the Roval in 2018, and how he spun out, lost a bunch of positions, and then he stopped because they said that you had to stop, and then we got going, and NASCAR was like, "Yep, we would have penalized him if he hadn't stopped," and it's like, well, okay, that's fine. But this same person who just told me that the penalty was losing spots, which he didn't do, by the way, he gained 2 from where he started the wreck at, not from where he was when he was sitting backwards on the racetrack wrecked, like anyone else. But he gained 2 positions from, he basically passed 2 people in that hairpin, and then they threw a yellow, is kind of what ended up happening. And so the argument that I've seen is, the penalty was losing the spots. Well, number 1, he didn't lose any spots, and number 2, Jimmy Johnson lost like 10 spots before he stopped his race car, and NASCAR still said they had to stop. There's a lot of people ask for consistency from NASCAR, and this is one of those moments where it's correct to ask for that because Ross Chastain just cut half the racetrack. Like 20 cars are stopped up in the hairpin because of a wreck. Rightly so. They're not piling in and trying to get through it. And then Ross Chastain guns it, yeets back into the top 10, and has a good day thanks to it. Kind of crappy. I was hoping for some street justice to come his way, but didn't happen. NASCAR dropped the ball on that one big time. I am a little upset. I really want to like Ross Chastain, but he keeps giving me reasons to not like him.
He keeps racing really hard and over his head sometimes. That's the fair assessment. Well, a guy that did get some street justice, it happened on Saturday, Riley Herbst. Oh, boy.
Oh, wow.
Boy, because let's talk about Mid-Ohio.
I didn't get to watch that race. I'll be straight up. I didn't get to watch it. I was in Savannah, Georgia with my lovely girlfriend celebrating
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary to my lovely girlfriend, who's definitely not listening, but will probably tap on the video and give it a like. Good enough for me. But, man, I watched back some of the highlights, and I specifically watched the Riley Herbst thing. I watched the Austin Cindric thing because I love watching Austin Cindric suffer. Man, that race looked like it was pretty good. I would have enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, I was at the restaurant for lunch for like the second and third and final stage. But they had it on TV, thankfully, and I'm like, we're gonna sit right here so we could watch.
Yes, I've done that before.
No, it was good. I mean, AJ had that crazy dive bomb into one.
Yep.
That got Ty Gibbs's feathers ruffled, which sometimes you gotta know when not to say something, because probably not the situation. You've won a bunch of races now, and you're kind of established. Maybe now's not the time to be like, oh, I don't like him making that move, because I thought it was a fair move. The Herbst, who did he push off the track? He pushed Paludo. He pushed Miguel Paludo off the track.
Yep.
In the 8 car, and so Lally's underneath them, and Herbst is just bam, bam, bam going into the corner. So Lally just gets on the brakes and lets Herbst turn himself off of his nose.
I cannot tell you how much I love Andy Lally. Andy Lally is man, what a talented road course racer. I'm so happy he got a top 5. I'm happy seeing him in good rides in the Xfinity Series, man. Him in that TRG stuff in 2011 was a shame. I'm happy seeing him in good stuff. I'm happy seeing him compete at the road courses. He's every single road course he's competed in this year, he's run very well. Top 5 in Mid Ohio. Friggin' awesome. Love it so much.
Hey, Jordan Anderson Racing, that's probably a guy that you want to call if you get him for the road courses, because Anderson's kind of... Josh Berry got a top 10, first road course start for him.
Super impressive. What more can that guy prove?
Nothing.
Like, genuinely.
Come on.
He is ready for a ride.
Sponsor
He's ready
him.
for a ride.
JRM, get it, figure it out.
Dude,
it's just a shame. It's a shame that he can't run for the championship this year.
Yeah. I will be shocked if he doesn't have a full-time ride next season. I'll be genuinely shocked. What a talent.
Yeah. And it's not like Junior... he'll stay with Junior. There's no way he goes somewhere else, I think.
Yeah.
It sounds like this deal to get into the 31 was kind of a deal through Chevy, like a loaner program, because it helped the 31 get into the race.
Right.
Because they weren't sure if they would have the points, but I mean, like you said, what more can Josh Berry do to prove that maybe you should just let him try to run for a championship? That 8 car is way up in points, despite a couple, setbacks. And think about what that playoff picture, like the Xfinity playoff picture is so close right now. My hair is a mess. And it's so close right now. And, Gregson had issues. Harrison Burton had issues. That moved them closer to the bubble, which, by the way, Gregson wrecking on lap 1. It sucks, and he's had a lot of bad luck, and hopefully he's doing okay. But, man, oh man, oh man. Sometimes you make your own luck. But,
yeah, you really do. That's something that's not talked enough about in racing with guys that have bad luck. Ryan Blaney, whom I love, is one of those people who a lot of his fans say that he has really bad luck, and it's like, well,
sometimes
someone puts him in that situation, and the common denominators are always driver, crew chief, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, you have to. Obviously, it's a cohesive effort, but some of the responsibility lies on the driver to not only not get them into those situations, but try their best to get them out of those situations. And Noah Gragson, a great example, is the Homestead race this year. It's bad luck, but he shouldn't have been running the top, really, truthfully. So, ended up not working out.
I used to think about the same thing with the 98. Riley, he's kind of ruffled people's feathers, I think, in mid-pack, and when you're starting mid-pack most weeks, like we have qualifying right now, Charlotte was a big opportunity for that 98 team, not just to get a decent amount of points, but to start getting better starting positions. And yes, you can say Stewart-Haas as a whole, as an organization, has struggled this year, and that's not on Riley, that's not on Boswell, that's not really on the Xfinity program, but again, I think people talked about it last year with him not performing well in that 18 car. And now we're seeing that 18 car, which I'm thinking is probably more along the lines of the 54. You got a veteran crew chief and all that, but you're seeing that same car, that same team have a lot of really good runs. Daniel Hemrick's second in points behind Cindric right now, and Harrison was way up there. Brandon Jones has had bad luck. He's had bad luck. But again, it's kind of you make your own luck sometimes. Also, I will never understand why Stewart-Haas didn't let Chris Boswell go up with Mr. Chase Briscoe up into Cup. They let Cole Custer do it with Shiplet. I was like, why are we? Nothing against Johnny Klausmeier, but I feel like you got to keep those pairings intact, at least for the first couple years.
See Rudy Fugle and William Byron.
They got a good see Bubba Wallace and Jerry Baxter last year. That 43 team really improved.
Yeah,
and
true.
They're good this year because Eric Jones has a former relationship with Baxter through KBM. Like those pairings are very, very important. And Hendrick went out and got Rudy Fugle for that exact reason. But we didn't talk about AJ Allmendinger winning. But we're gonna make some diecast picks, so you can go ahead and do that here. Again, folks, make sure you use code JTN at checkout for free shipping on your order of $20 or more at our friends from our friends at Circle B Diecast. You also, when you use that code, it helps us, helps support us. So, and you get free shipping. I mean, free shipping, it's a win-win. Win-win-win-win all the way around. But Davey, what do you got?
I got for pre-order AJ Allmendinger's race to win. Ramco Specialties Mid-Ohio race car, 124 scale. Get the pre-order in, man. That's a nice looking race car. I actually didn't get a good look at this car, but I kind of like that. Plus it's the race win, plus it's AJ. Who doesn't like AJ Allmendinger? I'm sure there's some people, but shut up. Like, is what it is. AJ Allmendinger. Use code JTN, get free shipping on that bad boy. You won't pay until it ships, and then you will pay, but only for the car, not for shipping. Why?
Oh.
Code JTN.
My pick for this week is new diecast that just came in. It's Alex Bowman's Planters 164. Get you on the free. You get a couple 164s, and then you get your free shipping. So go check that one out. He drove it at Martinsville last year. Almost made it into that Final Four. Get it done late in that one. They were outside the points a little bit, but he was running top 5. And Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman's rising on my list of drivers, Davey. I told you that before we started recording. He's a cool dude.
I do quite like Alex Bowman. He is a dude.
Yeah.
Just a dude, and that's what I want out of a driver sometimes. Just being a dude.
I don't need you to be loud, obnoxious, man.
Aggressive, cool race car driver.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I just want dude.
Alex Bowman's just a dude. He's got dogs.
Yep.
He's a dude.
Well, and that's what I like. I really like their the ally relationship. To anytime he wins, they donate to a local animal rescue around the track that he wins at. That is so cool. Bristol's of course a big fan, but adopt, don't shop. When I got Bristol as a puppy, but adopt, don't shop. Also, adopting dogs is really good, and it's cheaper. It's cheaper most of the time. So get a best friend. It's lower cost. I don't know where I'm going, Davey. I do know what we're going. We were going to talk about this last week because there are kind of some weird things that went on during the broadcast, media coverage, and auto racing. Now, I keep seeing the argument come up, why do we have to present our races like we do? I look at it like this, Davey. I look at F1 as completely technical. You're on this end of the spectrum. You're over here. I look at IndyCar as kind of a medium. It kind of fluctuates in between. And then I look at NASCAR. It's over here. It's more campy. It's more, it's supposed to be more for the everyday schmo. But am I wrong? I don't think I'm wrong with their presentation styles.
You're not. I saw someone. It's been a relevant conversation past the last week as well, so that's good that we're talking about it still. I saw people this week comparing NASCAR broadcasts to like the races are a carnival. Hadn't thought about it that way. Pretty accurate. It doesn't seem like it's carnival. It's a bunch of people having fun. It's not. You don't necessarily get the sense that there is a important event going on with race car drivers doing race car driver things, and like. I'm not saying that we need that. I'm not saying that that's what we need, but it's a very accurate description of it when there's a fly buzzing right around my head. It's a very accurate description of it. I don't really know what I want out of a broadcast. I know that I tend to dislike the campiness. I don't like the whole...
You don't need all of it. You like to have a little bit of it sprinkled in, but you don't need it.
No, let's treat this like an event. Let's treat this like a race. I mean, you don't go to football broadcasts and you don't hear of them saying like they're not like laughing, joking around 100% of the time like Clip Moyer and Jeff Gordon are, and Mike Joy is like the only relatively serious one in the group, and Jeff Gordon, even when he tries to sound serious, doesn't sound serious because you just can't take him seriously because he sounds ridiculous in the booth sometimes.
Yep.
He might be leaving. I don't know if I hate or like that yet.
Please.
But Joe
please put Larry Mack back in the booth. Put Jamie McMurray in the booth. Put Michael Waltrip in the booth. Because honestly, he'd be better than Boyer at this point, too.
I actually unironically agree.
I love Mikey, man. I think he has the perfect DW. I always loved. I think the best booth, at least that I can remember. And granted, my NASCAR following wasn't too strong between 2000 and 2006 when NBC was still around. My favorite booth has always been Mike Joy, DW, Larry Mack, because you got the perfect blend. Mike Joy's the serious call guy. He's calling the race. He's asking relevant questions, and that's how I try to model what I do after, because I think Mike Joy is one of the best, if not the best, to do it.
Mike Joy is one of the best to hold a mic for a NASCAR race.
Because he can do it both. He can do the silly stuff. We saw with iRacing last year. He can do the silly stuff, even though he definitely is grumpy old man sometimes with it. And then he can also he does the serious stuff, and I think you need that.
That's the thing. You say he's like the grumpy old man. He embraces it. He knows it. He goes with it. That's the thing about Mike Joy is I feel like Mike Joy can go into any group in the booth, and Mike Joy will still shine.
Yep.
I look at someone like Michael Waltrip. I think Michael Waltrip needs a very strong presence around him. A Mike Joy would be very helpful. Michael Waltrip sounds kind of out of place in the truck booth because there's no strong voice in the truck booth. In my opinion, Vince Welch doesn't count.
I think the problem with Vince Welch, and I think I've kind of seen this with Jamie Little, is they're both. I just have it in my head that they're pit reporters, right? The way they're introduced to us, and they've been that for so long, it's kind of weird.
It is hard to break that in your head, I get that, and that makes a lot of sense. Larry Mack, I would adore Larry Mack back in the booth, but I don't think he's going to get back in the booth because apparently one of the reasons he's not in the booth is because he wanted to travel less, and so that's why he's in Charlotte for all the broadcasts.
Which I think works out, I think it works.
We still get good Larry Mack moments. Larry Mack is enjoying his job, which is good because I love Larry Mack.
The tire, I still can't get over the cheese grater tire, and everyone loves that, and that's Fox has embraced that because everyone loved it.
Yep.
And that's my main point here is I think it's a misconception of what makes things popular on the internet, because that is what we've seen. We've seen this deep dive into all these sports shows, and if that's what NASCAR wants to be, it's on Sports Network. Did you get it?
I did. I got him.
Good job. Got the fly. We got him, boys.
That was annoying.
But they've embraced the wrong things at times, I think. I see people get angry over that Put It Out segment that they started this year, and I haven't watched pre-race. I don't need to watch pre-race. Oh, well, what is a new fan of our sport going to think when they see this? They're going to say, oh, it's a variety show. I don't know if that's a bad thing, because you're just trying to grab them in. You're trying to grab their attention for that pre-race so they stay on your channel. I think that gets lost on people. When they go, oh, well, F1 gets to do all these technical broadcasts. Well, you know how much people pay for Sky Sports or Sky Sports F1? You know how much they pay, Davey?
Yeah.
600 euros. That's, I think that's a little north of $600 US. I don't see anyone going out there right now to go pay $600 for a year subscription to watch NASCAR without commercials. But they know their audience. They know their audience is in tune with everything. They know their audience knows the technical stuff already, has a lot of the background. So they go with it. They know they don't. Whereas NASCAR, we live in the United States. NASCAR's in the United States. The media, the way TV contracts work, the way it's so much different. Yeah. And it's not to say that they couldn't go out and do something similar, but I don't think you'd get people to pay for it. I really don't.
Yeah, it's a flawed. I think it's a flawed reasoning to expect a Formula One-esque broadcast from NASCAR. I don't think you get that. I don't think you can get that. I mean, the telemetry just isn't really there. I don't care how many times they show us the throttle and brake indicators and all this nonsense for the cars on the broadcast. It's almost never accurate. You can tell it's almost never accurate. I mean, it's laughably inaccurate.
Yeah.
To the point where it doesn't add anything to the broadcast. So why is it there?
Right.
However, there is a tone to the Formula One broadcasts that I quite enjoy,
Yeah.
and I would like to see some of that tone in the NASCAR broadcast. And this is coming from a guy who I prefer the European style of broadcasting. I watch the Premier League. That's European soccer. It's football, whatever you want to call it. I don't care what you call it. Soccer here, so it's soccer.
Not to treat people like babies, but go on.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. Anyway, I'm just like, my favorite thing about watching those matches is sometimes they just don't talk. They just don't talk. They just let it happen. You're watching it on TV. It's happening. And then sometimes I feel like Clint Boyer and Jeff Gordon are just trying to dead air, 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 dead air. We can have dead air. Like, it's different. It's different for a JTN broadcast because it's sim racing and the sound isn't there. There's not the atmosphere. It's you have to kind of create that yourself.
I let that air go. I think it's
you let the air go.
If my attention, and I can't make words about what I'm seeing, I don't try to put words there.
And there you go. And I think just having that philosophy for the NASCAR broadcast, if Clint Boyer and Jeff Gordon could just not play the, hey, yeah, elbow to the ribs, elbow back to the ribs. I mean, that's what it feels like sometimes. And like, is it fun sometimes? Yes, it can be, but it seems like that is the shtick now, because that's the only way that Jeff Gordon's become bearable in the booth.
Yep.
And we don't need that. If Jeff Gordon leaves, I hope we get another semi-serious person in the booth.
Give me Jamie McMurray. Give me somebody.
That's the thing. I think to get someone in the booth that's good, Clint Boyer needs to be
reined in.
A little tweaked. Yeah. I'm not going to say reined in because I think that's the wrong thing to do. I think that's unfair. But I think we need to tweak the use of Clint Boyer during the broadcast. Maybe have him go in a different direction. Instead of good old boy explaining the car, try and explain it in terms like that is a little more universal for everyone else, for everyone that's watching. And then maybe that new third guy, whoever it be, or new second guy, I guess technically, whoever that be, if it's Jamie Mack, whoever it is, if it's Michael Waltrip, Chad Knaus would be
Hendrick a little bit.
Yeah, Chad Knaus would be good, but he's got a big role at Hendrick now. But someone there needs to help Mike Joy shine, be themselves, and also kind of separate themselves from the Clint Boyer elbow ribbing, ha ha ha, funny joke all the time. I think the only thing that really needs to change with the NASCAR broadcasts is the tone, maybe not necessarily the content. That's my opinion.
I think that's fair. I hate when I see everyone just constantly, and it's like it's the fun thing to do, right? To just crap on it, to say, oh, it's so bad. Why can't we have this? Well, there's a lot of reasons why we can't have it. You're not going to listen to the reasons I'm going to tell you, but there's a lot of reasons why we can't. Again, if you want commercial-free stuff, well, you got to look at the way we present sports in this. There's commercials on every sport. The only F1 races on ESPN don't have commercials because they're on Sunday morning early, and they have mothers sponsoring the broadcast, sponsoring the telecast. And they're paying Sky Sport for their stream. So it's already a cheaper production value for them because they're only having to pay Sky Sport. They're not having to send their crew, send media members over. They don't have to do any of that jazz. All they're doing is they're buying a feed and they're distributing a feed. NASCAR's YouTube does that with the races in different countries, or different countries have different streams on different networks where they buy those streams, and that's great. But again, where is TV going to make their money? They're going to make it commercials and advertisement. They can definitely do it. They could definitely it's not an argument of can they or can't they do it, a commercial freestyle broadcast. It's the fact that money versus how much they pay. Now, NASCAR maybe lowers how much they want for their races. Hey, maybe that's a possibility. But that TV contract went up all those years ago. And it's still at a rate where it doesn't make sense. Viewership isn't where it needs to be to justify not having 10 commercial breaks or 14 or 15, 16, whatever it may be. It's probably way more than that.
It's okay. The sport's fine. Let me be clear. I think it's fine. It's funny.
It's
a funny
funny.
thing.
It's funny to crap on NASCAR, isn't it? It is. It is. It's so much fun. I'm so over it though at this point.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get
another thing real quick. And I think we're probably gonna get there. I think you're probably gonna get there. And I agree. I see this all the time, and it's one of those few things that I see on Twitter over and over and over again. And I'm like, yeah, it sucks. Quit flipping zooming in on everything.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's a
pretty. Some wide shots.
All that is it's the director, right? It's about getting the right people in the right places that maybe know the sport a little bit more. I believe they got a new director in the last 2 or 3 years, and we've seen that shift.
Yeah.
In the broadcasts over those 2 or 3 years, so just maybe not the right person for the job. But also, you balance these clips. You want to have all these funny clips about people saying funny stuff and blah, 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 blah. Tommy's very guilty of this during our broadcast, of trying to say a funny thing to get people to laugh when it's maybe not the moment to try to say that. And that's what you got to balance. That's what you got to balance and I think they just haven't found that balance yet. They're working towards it again. They're over here, campiness. F1's here. Indycar is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't always find a big issue with it. Dale Jr. said that when he got up into the booth, it was like, sitting at the bar watching a race with buddies. And that's okay, but you have to own that. But you also have to realize when too much is too much. And I think they've kind of, Fox has missed the mark on that balance this year. I don't think it helped having Gordon and Boyer, who are kind of seem to be trying to take on that same persona in the booth. I think that's where we're kind of going awry. But Chris Myers being back for pre-race has been pretty cool.
That has been pretty cool.
That adds some legitimacy to the broadcast that people I don't think will give it credit for.
That's a fair point.
Because he calls he'll call NFL games in the fall. He'll call baseball. He'll call, It's
a really, really fair point. Speaking of good broadcasters, ones that add some legitimacy to broadcast, Alan Bestwick is going to be showing up this weekend for racing broadcast again.
SRX. I didn't know if you were making the transition perfectly. I was just going to let you keep rolling.
I thought you were setting something up. I thought I was waiting on you. You look like you were a little busy.
So. I have to write time codes down. But
fair.
SRX
Stafford. Good track. Good track.
It's gonna be fun.
I'm excited for it. I'm pretty hype.
I'm nervous for it. I mean,
that too.
I'm nervous.
That
too. Mikey's not gonna be in the booth on Saturday for the truck race. Oh. Ugh.
Well, that's gonna be rough.
Pain.
But hey, you're gonna be able to watch him race against some of the coolest names in racing. And let me be very clear here. Those are NSRX, some of the coolest names in racing. You can make fun of it all you want. Oh, it's all the washed up old has-beens. All the boomers are gonna love it. That's whatever. That's a really pessimistic way of looking at it. We have some of the coolest names in racing. We got Willie T. Ribbs, Michael Waltrip, Bobby Labonte, Paul Tracy. Whether you like Paul Tracy or not, you got to admit he's going to add something to that. You may not like him. I certainly don't. But you can't say that it's not going to be exciting.
Our Indianapolis 500 winner for this year. I mean,
that is insane. By the way, that is. I mean, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's cool.
Another
I'm excited
guy that's
for it. It's
active in IndyCar. I'm sorry, TK's active in IndyCar still and competing. Marco was in the 500 and getting an Andretti in there. That's a big name.
A big deal.
Tony,
it's a big deal.
Bill
Tony,
Elliott.
Obviously. I mean, here. What I think about SRX right now is you just went to the store, you got your recipe, you got all the ingredients, and you're gonna bake this great cake. And you've never baked this cake before. You don't know how this cake's gonna turn out, and you don't know if the people you're baking the cake for are gonna like the cake.
You gotta make the cake.
But you gotta make the cake, and the cake's gonna be made. And I hope we like it, because SRX has all the ingredients to be successful. It's got intriguing names. It's got cool racetracks. It's got asphalt, dirt, short tracks, adding to the cool racetracks thing.
Their own video game.
Their own freaking video game that just had an update today, by the way, which shows at least a little bit of commitment to it. Yeah, it's got the Camping World stuff. The cars look cool. Ray Evernham built the cars. Can't fault you can fault Ray Evernham for a lot of things. Trust me, but you can't fault Ray Evernham for his car making abilities because god damn is he good at it. Those cars and those drivers and those names, I can't help but think that we're gonna see something kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I'm right. I hope I'm right. Excuse me. God. I mean, what's the full lineup for Stafford? Let me see.
I don't know what the lineup is. I do know this. So we'll be going live on CBS network television, not cable, not CBS Sports Network, big CBS, 8 p.m. Saturday night. Formats like this, you have two 15-minute heats. White flag gets shown when the clock hits 0, and you get points. Those points will determine the starting lineup in the 100-lap main event. I think Slinger is a 150-lap main event.
Yeah.
Because it's a smaller track, but I think it's 12 guys. Because you're going to have a track champion from Stafford, right? And then it's 10. There's 10 permanent, I believe.
Yeah. I also would like to add that the track champion thing, what they're doing for Slinger, where the Slinger Nationals winner is going to get a ride for the SRX race. Some of the coolest things that are happening in racing, in my opinion, are those things.
Mm-hmm.
We talk all the time about how it'd be really cool for XYZ champion of a lower series to have a shot in the Clash or have a shot in the All-Star or some nonsense like that. Like, we talk about things like that being cool things that we would like to see for, race car drivers who probably wouldn't have that chance otherwise. The Slinger Nationals winner and the Stafford track champion having a shot at racing against some of the biggest names in racing, some of them
on a very big stage.
On a very big stage at a track they are obviously going to have a leg up at. That's such a cool opportunity and such a good idea and such good forward thinking from everyone who's in charge of the decision making at SRX. It's just cool, right? It's everything that it's almost like, and I think this is why people are a little hesitant about it. It's almost like it's pandering to us, right? Like, it is pandering to us. It's literally pandering to us, and it's like, this isn't.
Look, we're making a race car that doesn't have dirty air.
Wait, hold on. I don't trust it, and that's what I think. That's where I think people are with it right now, and I hope it delivers to the extent that they are outlining it to deliver.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the presentation style. Having Alan Bestwick brings that legitimacy to their broadcasting booth. You're gonna have Matt Yoakum down on pit road, which I think is big because I think Matt will bring a lot too. He was, on Fox for all those years, and they let him go for some reason. We'll never understand why.
They are pandering to us.
I know.
I know. It's so interesting.
Where's Dale Jr.?
Fair enough. I literally, I didn't even think about the Alan Bestwick thing or the Matt Yoakum thing. But again, they're freaking, this is what people are, this series is what people are asking for. In generic conversations before this existed. Now it's, become real, and it's that seems like it's going to bust. It's going to bust. It's not going to be realistic. Whereas I feel like if I went into a racing forum 7 years ago and said that this was happening, they would call BS and say that it's fake. There's no way this is gonna happen. It's too good. I am in love with this idea, and I just hope it delivers.
It's pretty exciting. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a failure. To give credit where credit is due, I don't think it will be, but I don't think you could be surprised if it is or something bad happens.
Yeah.
Maybe the racing isn't what you all think it's going to be because it's quite possibly going to, the expectations by a lot of people have been set way up here. Expectations are all over the place, so it's really going to depend on how you feel about it. I'm just going into it with the idea, hey, there's guys in here that I didn't really get to see race competitively. that I'm gonna get to see race competitively. You know, Bill Elliott's the big one. Willie T. Ribbs,
Yeah.
Paul Tracy. I think
Yeah.
those are the three for me, at least, that I haven't really had that opportunity to see them race competitively, or at least remember it. So I am looking forward to that. I'm
Really
really
surprised
excited
that
to see Alan Bestwick though, how he calls the races. I'm just really
and
surprised.
what you said about I'll go. It's not important. I just interrupted you for no reason. No big deal. So, but yeah, the CBS presentation style. I'm trying to figure out what the vibe should be. I don't really know yet. IROC always kind of gave off like that one-off exhibition kind of style vibe
Which
to me, and
I think
you
this is
know,
gonna play the same. Yeah, I really do.
yeah, yeah.
It's
No, I
not.
don't disagree. I hope that it doesn't. I hope that they take a slightly more serious and competitive approach to it. I hope that the drivers don't see it as that either, because I feel like that's really important that the drivers need to be invested. Michael Waltrip's been posting like Instagram stories of himself working out in preparation for the race, which
I love Mikey.
I think it's
I
awesome. I think
love
that's cool as
Mikey.
hell that he's taking it seriously. Um, yeah, like you said, everything expectations are all over the place. I mean, we really have no idea what we're gonna see. I mean,
Hey,
there's no basis. There's nothing to judge off of besides like the few testing clips. I mean, we have nothing, and
which I think is
uh,
good
I think so too. And in the
because
end, I think
as
it'll be
you
good.
know, there would be someone on the internet going, "Oh, I saw this and I've seen this before, and it produced this bad racing," without knowing anything about what they're talking about. Kind of like us, a couple of hacks. But
Hell yeah, dude, we have no idea what we're talking about.
no, I think it's gonna be fun. And don't forget, you can tune into JTN right after and watch the USORL. Watch that guy try to advance his way into the Final Four. I don't know if you actually had it provisional or not last week, Davey. We'll see what the decision is.
Oh well, we'll figure it out.
We'll see. But it's gonna be fun, guys. You're not gonna want to miss it. Again, that's 8 p.m. on CBS Saturday night from Stafford Speedway in Stafford, Connecticut. Is that correct? Stafford
Gross.
Springs, Connecticut. Don't want to get that wrong. Somewhere in the
Excuse me.
Northeast.
I am just coughing a million times a minute.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'll get through it eventually.
Davey is 100% better, at getting exponentially better by the day. It's great.
It's true, because I was negative 400%. The podcast that I missed where it was pre Indy 500, and I was super excited. I was so upset, man. I said this last time. I was
Okay.
upset.
The race was really good, so it worked out. But just make sure you curb your enthusiasm. But also, if you want to have those really high expectations and they're not met, that's that.
Go into it with an open mind as well. This is
Yeah.
This is I think it's kind of cool, and I'd like to see it succeed.
Yep. And don't think that the SRX video game is exactly how the cars are going to race either.
Yeah.
Just in case anyone was on that thought train. But we also have another pure form of racing this weekend. The Indycar Duel in Detroit on Belle Isle. I will not be attending because tickets are expensive, and I'm going to Indianapolis in August. But two races, as always. You have the Saturday race, you have Sunday, you have qualifying for both races, I do believe. It's gonna be an exciting one. Belle Isle's a really fun track, in my opinion. Probably a little bias in there. It was cool to go.
I agree with you 110%.
They've always had Fridays have been pre days dating back to when it was an F1 Grand Prix. So it's gonna be really fun, and it's a really cool event that Roger Penske helped bring back to the city of Detroit. That's the Belle Isle State Park. But Davey, if you had to make a pick, Saturday, Sunday. I guess Saturday would inform who you'd pick Sunday. But you had to make a pick right now.
You know what? I'm gonna go for the luck turning around for this guy. Alexander Rossi on Saturday, and Scott Dixon on Sunday.
So two Hondas winning right down the road from Chevrolet's headquarters.
can't do it because I'd have to buy a diecast, and I don't want to do that right now. But
You almost let one slip earlier too, and you caught it. I was very proud of you. Yeah, I think Rossi was one that came to my mind because he has just had terrible luck this year. But that's kind of, he's had terrible luck last year, and just I think they kind of haven't gotten off that schneid. But if I had to pick two different people, I'd say Colton Herta.
Ooh,
Feel like he's definitely one, and I'm gonna throw a Hail Mary maybe. Jack Harvey.
Oh,
Or one of them, because he has been so strong this year.
that's the other that's the other Shank car, yeah.
Yep.
Wow, what a month, or what a previous month it would be for Shank.
I know, and like I said, Harvey's just been really good this year, and he's kind of just gotten shafted. Had that happen in the Indy GP, and I don't remember where he finished in the 500, but also watch out for Romain Grosjean, because again, this is kind of an F1 style course a little bit more.
Oh, that's gonna be fun to watch.
So
it's gonna be really fun.
You know, street circuit, and he's always been good. Scotty McLaughlin's gonna be good too. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to watch.
I think Scotty's gonna be really good this weekend. I think I don't know what it is, but that track's gonna play into his wheelhouse. I just feel it.
A worn out surface, bumpy. You know,
seen those Australian race tracks?
Exactly.
Have you seen those tracks? They're
crazy.
They're a mess sometimes. And I feel like that just gonna match.
Hey, tracks that are a mess. You said it, not me. NASCAR heads to the Texas Motor Speedway this weekend. We saved the best.
Woo.
I mean, no, the worst. No, the best. The best for last.
Yep.
Trucks and Xfinity on Saturday, and the Cup All-Star race Sunday night for some reason at 7:30. Hate that move, by the way. But I think it's probably because they saw SRX was going to be that Saturday night. So they're like, hey, let's not go up against that. Yeah. We can talk about how Texas needs to be bulldozed all we want. We can talk about, making a short track like they're going to do to California. Just use the land for something more productive. Boo, Texas, bad track. This track can still have good finishes, though. Indicative by last year. Both the Xfinity races were really good, I thought. At least finish-wise. You had Noah absolutely choking away the fall race to Harrison, and then Cindric and Kyle Busch were battling in the spring race. I forget when it took. I think it took place in July. I don't know. The schedule just runs so much together from last year, but
last year was a mess.
If you had to make a pick, trucks, Xfinity. We'll start there.
I didn't. I was too busy.
I'll make my picks. You're good. You're good. I'll make my picks.
I always go first.
I'm gonna go. I don't know who. John Hunter Nemechek. That's too easy. It's a layup.
Are you kidding me?
But
good lord, you're a. Ooh, you know
and then Kyle Busch to win the Xfinity race. All right, your turn.
All right, for the truck series, I'm going Chase Elliott.
Oh shoot. Are you kidding me? Come on.
Are you kidding me, dude? Are you kidding me? And then I'm gonna go.
I'll change my pick to Daniel Hemrick.
I'm gonna go Myatt.
Okay.
Myatt Snyder.
Yeah. Good pick. All right, All-Star race is Sunday. No one is looking forward to it, it seems. I think it could be exciting just because we're gonna jumble the field up 6,000 times. We're gonna have inverts. We're gonna do all kinds of crazy stuff. There's gonna be incentive to finish good in each stage.
I will say, if there's a race that's gonna have manufactured excitement and a bunch of stupidity, let it be this one, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's already at Texas. You're already saying, everyone's already been saying, oh, we're taking it to Texas. It's gonna suck. Well, they're trying to make it suck less. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, listen, it is what it is. For the Open, I got who do I got? Gosh,
Reddick will get one of the. It's 4 guys, 3 for the 3 stages, and then fan votes.
God, four guys. Good lord.
So I was gonna take Reddick, Buescher, and Suarez as my 3 to race their way in. But Eric Almirola will somehow win one of the stages because he always does for some reason. He always shows out for the All-Star Open, baby.
He really does, actually. It's kind of insanity.
That Smithfield money. I want to see Chase Briscoe do good, but I have a feeling that won't happen, unfortunately.
Okay,
And
so
then
for my
sorry,
okay, sorry, I forgot about the fan vote. You
I
go.
was gonna say fan vote. I have no clue. Bubba Wallace, Eric Jones, Chase Briscoe, one of those three. Maybe
Okay.
DiBenedetto. I completely forgot about Dibby. I have no idea.
Yeah,
Moral of the
DiBenedetto was
story.
my first pick to get in
Okay.
through the stages. So DiBenedetto, Reddick, and I'm gonna go with Daniel Suarez getting the other spot, and I think Bubba Wallace wins the fan vote.
Yeah. Fair, fair, fair. All right, All-Star Race is crazy. We won't even try to tell you the format. I'm just going to sit back, relax, and watch it.
Yep.
Because I think that's what this race is supposed to be, so just do it.
Brain off, eyes on.
We don't have to overanalyze everything, folks. We don't have to be, like, constantly in the know about everything. If you like that, go buy the NASCAR scanner. I don't know what to tell you. The broadcast isn't necessarily there for you for that. But that's like $60 for the year, so I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. But stages. So the first 5 set you up for the 6th, and the final it's like 10 laps, 10 laps, 10 laps, 10 laps, 30 laps, 10 laps. The 30 lap stage is stage 5, I believe. There's a mandatory 4-tire pit stop during that stage. Fastest pit crew will get an extra $100,000, so that's kind of cool. If you had to pick anyone but Kyle Larson, who would you pick? Kyle Larson also starting on pole, so, you know.
I'm going Kevin Harvick.
Woo! Kevin. It's a new package for the All-Star race, and last time we did that, Kevin won.
I'm going Kevin Harvick, sticking with it.
We're choking.
Kevin Harvick is going to... SHR is going to turn their season around starting at the All-Star race.
Just like they did in their inaugural season.
Goddamn right.
Bam. Look at me bringing those 2009 facts in here. Dog, I got no idea. I think it's going to be a crapshoot. I'm just going to pick Denny Hamlin because he's got to win. So maybe this kickstarts his summer. It's going to be a crapshoot. And that's what it's supposed to be. I mean, look, 2014 All-Star race, that one's memorable. Jamie McMurray won that off of crazy stuff happening at the end. 2008, Casey Kane got in through the fan vote. That was a spectacular run. No one else has ever done that. I was listening to Door Bumper Clear today, and they were like, no one's ever transferred from the Open to the All-Star race to win. Kyle Larson did it, Casey Kane did it, and Michael Waltrip did it. So,
yeah, they're not always that smart, but they're in the know.
Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. But yeah, Denny Hamlin. I'll just Denny Hamlin, sure. But that's us through all of our topics for tonight. So do you know what that means, Davey?
I think that means that I have to talk about my social media.
It does.
Dang. Well, if you happen to, just so possibly, let's say you wanted to find out more about me, don't know why, you would find some of that on Twitter at Davey Hazard. You'd find some of that on Instagram at D7H5, and you'd find some of that on Twitch at D7H5, or with an ER at the end. Make sure you also subscribe and follow to the JTN socials, which Joe Talansky from JTN, from Johto Network, Johto himself, is going to give you right now.
At Johto Network on Twitter, Facebook.com/Johto Network, YouTube.com/Johto Network, all linked in the YouTube video description below if you're watching us on the old YT. Also, check out our JTN merch store where you can get kick butt merch like what Davey's got on. Davey's always wearing the JTN merch, and I am not because I don't know. I feel like I can't vouch for my own products, Davey.
Yes, you can. Do it right now.
They're great shirts. They're great hoodies. You can get our Fake Racers podcast merch as well if you really like the Fake Racers podcast. Again, Matthew Steelman, King of the Jungle merch, launched today. Go check that out. Worked a lot, very hard on that one. I think it looks pretty spectacular. Navigate around the licensing stuff. Here we are. But Can't thank you guys enough for listening, for watching, whatever it may be. We'll be live pretty much the rest of the week, all from Texas, if you believe it or not. Bomb Squad Trucks on Wednesday night, June the 9th. Following night, June 10th, with Bomb Squad Cup. Then Bomb Squad Xfinity on Friday night, June the 11th. Then June 12th, we're with the USORL from Texas. Monday night, Maverick Cup Series from Sears Point. Tuesday night, Hobo Racing from, guess what, Davey? Texas. And then the
oh my God.
Next Wednesday. Wait, it's not over yet. And then next Wednesday, All-Star Racing, their Cup Series, their All-Star Race. So the best of the best in All-Star Racing in the All-Star Race from, guess it, Davey. Stay with me.
Dover.
Texas. All right. A lot of Texas. Oops, all Texas. Woohoo! But here on JTN. So we'll be talking about Texas All-Star Race next weekend and SRX and all the fun stuff because it's going to be a great summer of racing, folks. And you're not going to want to miss a second of it. We got you covered here on JTN. Our Bristol, our producer, he is
Davey Hazard. Thank you so much for tuning in.
And I'm Joe. Same. Ditto. See you guys next time.